Dr. Ebony Griffin. This year's theme, Connection, Competence, and Caring, reminds us that meaningful change happens when we intentionally build relationships. When we intentionally build relationships, we increase our knowledge and we lead with compassion. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Best Point Behavioral Health, Planned Parenthood Southwest Ohio, United Way of Greater Cincinnati, the Cultural Connection, 1NG, and the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Our first presenter is Leah Steverson. So Leah is going to discuss empowerment in action, advocating for Black maternal health, and navigating fertility, pregnancy, and postpartum challenges.
I wouldn't have chosen this to be my story, but it is my story, and because it is my story, I have understood that it is to be honored, right? And it is to be used to serve and to help other people, because I believe that is our purpose here on earth, is to serve and to love and to live in community. A lot of times when we talk about maternal mental health and Black mental health, we are talking about the pregnancy, right? The birthing process and postpartum. But for many of us women, it actually starts much sooner than a pregnancy ever occurs. There's this thing called infertility. As Black women are nearly twice as likely to experience infertility, yet are significantly less likely to receive fertility treatment. So I've counseled and consulted with many of Black women, much like myself, who are going through struggles when it comes to health, fertility, pregnancy, birth, and parenting. I know what it's like to walk through the unimaginable hurt, grief, anger, and disappointment. But I also know what it's like on the other side to have healed. And healed not from a place of just fixing, but healed from a place of allowing myself to take a step back, to feel, to honor, to grieve my losses. And losses is not honestly always about necessarily a loss of life. Loss is a loss of opportunity. Loss is a loss of dreams, of an idea of what you thought your life was going to be like. Loss of respect from the people who are supposed to be serving you. The idea and my main point today is that the real fix starts with us.
Only 64.1% of Black mothers assessed first trimester prenatal care in 2025, compared to 77.5% of white non-Hispanic mothers. Nearly a third of Black mothers, that's 31.9%, reported difficulty paying rent before pregnancy even began. So we cannot separate infant mortality from maternal mental wellness. Preventing infant death starts with supporting the mother with knowledge, with resources, and with empathy. Our next speaker is Mr. Keith Vukasinovich. Mr. V is going to present on Strength After Service, culturally responsive support for Black veterans, Black women, caregivers, and military families.
If you look at my Psychology Today profile, it says it, but it says it nicely. If you're a Black man, this is the spot for you. If you're not, pick somebody else on this damn list. 99 out of 100 brothers I see in therapy are only there because somebody said, either you go to therapy, or brothers ain't just sitting around, you know what? I think I could benefit from therapy. Okay? The vast majority of us only access mental health services when there is a crisis. Now here in Ohio, the Black female therapists outnumber the Black male damn near 10 to 1. So I know when I say there are 1,500 independently licensed Black female counselors and social workers here in Ohio. I also know that there are only about 100 Black men. The entire state. Brothers don't talk about this. Help seeking is not our strong point. Because when we do actually, the few brothers who have actually made us aware that they were struggling with something, they end up memes on social media, But we don't have enough conversations about the fact that 1 in 5 sisters talk about having thought of taking their own lives. Once I graduate in May, I will be number 5, and I know the other 4 personally. 5 black men with PhDs who are school counselors and clinical counselors in the entire country. We have got to be the rescue we are waiting for, because ain't no rescue coming. Thank you.
And I am the state representative for District 24 in Cincinnati, and I serve as the Democratic leader in the Ohio House. Most days, we are doing every single thing we can to be of use to the people we represent. I live over the Rhine, I've lived there for a decade. The people who live on my block do not care how many clicks I get, they don't care how deep into the superminority I am in the legislature. They care if the free store around the corner gets funded, they care if we're building more housing in the district, they care if the school cuts are getting diminished and if we're investing in more people in their local schools, and so that is what we are focused on. Even in a political environment that is challenging, there is room to make progress on the issues you are working on and the issues you care about. And there are representatives in the Democratic caucus who are doing the work to pave those pathways.
This next session focuses on understanding how trauma impacts individuals, families, and communities. Lainey Miller will present cultural trauma in the therapy room.
My name is Lainey Miller. I am the owner of Peaceful Intentions Counseling and Consulting. What is trauma? It's defined as any overwhelming event that happens to an individual that affects their safety. Now, what is cultural trauma? It's any overwhelming event or ongoing experience that happens to a whole group of people because of their shared identity. Cultural trauma tears at the social fabric of an entire group. It changes how they view the world and themselves. Something about slavery is that he said, is that it became a lasting reference point for African American identity. It carried two generations who never lived it. So that manifests as a dog of mistrust. So narrative therapy is when you take your client back to a time in, let's just say a traumatic time in their life, when they was, say, 8 years old, right? You are going to have your client, not in session, for their homework, write down every single last thing they remembered when they was 8 years old. Down to the smell. How did your parents' house smell? How did it smell outside? What color was your parents' car? What color was your room? Did you have a twin bed, full-size bed? Did you share rooms? Down to that. Have them write down everything. Have them bring it to session, and you talk about it. You process it.
Sharmika E. Pope. Her presentation, Killing Us Softly, Black Girlhood and Suicide, explores the realities facing Black girls, the importance of prevention, and how we can create pathways towards hope and healing.
I can sit across from someone who gets me. I don't have to explain the other stuff, right? And so that's a burden. That's fatigue. And I don't want to engage in all this hard work. I want to do the therapy part, but all this other stuff is a turn off, and I'm not interested in that. 2015, 2017, 10 states had the greatest number of Black youth suicide, and Ohio was one of those numbers. Even though, like, these attempts, behaviors, deaths are being reported, the literature says it's likely that it's not true numbers. Because in the Black community, when there's a death by suicide, the shame, the embarrassment, we report it as an accident. So in 2019, there were over 1,600 Black youth suicide deaths. 2019, y'all. There were over 100,000 reported cases of self-harm, right? And so for this idea of a death by suicide, because we don't even say someone completes suicide, a death by suicide, there are at least 25 attempts that are not necessarily reported. Suicide, we talk about warning signs, and as clinicians, like that cues us to like engage in a risk assessment. But current research is saying that Black youth are not necessarily showing those typical, I hate saying the word normal because who gets to define normal, but typical, right? So there's an event that causes that young person to pursue suicide. So sometimes we don't even have a chance, y'all. You know, so for Black boys, recent intervention with law enforcement sometimes preempts that suicidal attempt. And for Black girls, it's conflict in interpersonal relationships, so whether with family or significant other. We have to be available to participate in research. In order for our stories to get told, in order for intervention and treatment modalities to reflect our needs, we have to be a part of that research.
I am going to introduce to you our amazing keynote speaker. She is going to speak today as someone whose work inspires resilience, healing, and transformation. So please join me in welcoming Jasmary Teneo of Hidden Roots.
How many of you guys have been afraid at one point to do something, did it, and overcame that fear? Because you're all leaders. A lot of times the individuals that we service, they cannot rationalize that. They cannot go from, I am afraid of doing this, and the anxiety that comes associated with fear, I cannot make it past that line. Growth begins before confidence arrives, and action creates clarity. You have that moment, or something is ever given to you, like internally, like, man, this ain't right, I feel like I want to advocate for, and you do not make that step, just take action. Because that action is gonna reveal things, and it's gonna provide you with the clarity that you need in order for you to be able to push forward. Trees grow underground before anyone sees them. A lot of us are not fully operating in our potential right now. A lot of us are in this space, and we're just pushing numbers. A lot of us are in this space, and we're amazing, but we're not being seen. Continue to work on where you are right now, where you're trying to be, remembering that purpose and that journey in order for that tree to grow. You're gonna continue to water it. Water it, water it, water it. I'm gonna challenge all of you, I get 2 people's phone numbers and be intentional. At minimum, 2 individuals that you have not met yet. Look for someone that does not look like you. Maybe someone that may have more experience, maybe someone younger. Challenge yourself. Get 2 individuals' phone numbers and have lunch with them. Have a conversation with them. And it doesn't have to be business, it can be personal. How you doing? That's it. And I'm sure that everyone in here, you got into this field because something led you to want to be a helper. Something. We all been through some things. And you didn't make a decision to let that testimony cripple you.
I'm here at the Black Women Cultivating Mental Health Summit.
From the time we came up to the door, everybody was warm and welcoming and embracing.
It was a wonderful time today listening to all of the professionals talking about the need for us to, as professionals, work with our Black community.
Black maternal health, talking about Black American veterans, and where we're talking about Black girls and suicide.
I'm a new case manager in the field, and I've learned so much today.
Today's event was amazing. I grew up in a household with nothing but Black women and beautiful Black aunties.
One of my biggest takeaways for today's summit is the relationships.
We were all challenged to make sure that we connected and that we cared and we showed compassion, and we were supposed to get 2 connections. If you know me, you can guess how many I got out of this.
I got to be around other local therapists and mental health advocates.
I've met so many good people, made some connections, found some really, really good resources that I plan to incorporate.
I wish anybody and everybody could have took advantage of this because I've learned so much and met so many people from all over the country.
Practitioners, you are in this space, make sure that you are coming out to the summit to build those relationships with others that are doing exactly what you do, so you can have someone to lean on and you can provide better quality of care.
I came out of this conference with a whole lot more knowledge, a whole lot of a different perspective, a different mindset.
As Black men, we need to be protectors of Black women at all costs. And learning what they go through mentally and expressing themselves in a free world without no judgment, that's what we're here for.
The energy in the room is uncanny, and I can't even speak to it.
If you were not in the building, you should have been in the building.
I love this. I will be attending any and every event that they throw. This was a beautiful expression of love and Black peace.
Love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Black women are truly, truly, truly cultivating change in this space. So don't miss it next year.